This is WKYT This Morning.
Hey, good morning. Welcome into WKYT. Here we are on your Wednesday, and I'm Bill Bryant.
I'm Rebecca Smith. It's January 27th.
Those facts are known, and it's good to have you with us. Time right now, 6:31. Search teams are waiting for daylight this morning to continue looking for 3 people missing after a deadly house explosion in southern Kentucky.
Family members identified 2 people who lived in an eastern Kentucky home where bodies were found after an early morning fire.
And Governor Matt Bevin says he is taking executive action to slash millions of dollars from the state budget.
We are below freezing this morning. Some slick spots there on the roads. We get into the afternoon. Don't see that changing that much. We actually jumped to about 33 degrees. Mostly cloudy skies. Maybe a couple of flurries this morning, but for the most part, it's a dry next few days. We'll get into the forecast. I'll show you a big time warm up.
And here's the latest from WKYT. We are tracking a developing story this morning out of Adair County. At least 1 person is dead and 3 others still missing now after a house exploded.
The house is on Coomer Road off Highway 206. That's about 5 miles outside Columbia. Police are keeping us very far away from the scene, but we have been making phone calls all night long. WKYT's Mark Barber joins us from the live desk with a morning update.
We've learned that sometime in the next hour, the deputy coroner and a search team will go back out to the house to start searching through debris for any survivors. 1 person is dead and 3 others are missing this morning after a strong explosion nearly leveled the house yesterday afternoon. Firefighters rushed to save the home that's just outside Columbia, but a large fire destroyed what was left of that house. State police say explosions like this are rare, so they're still trying to figure out what caused the damage. Investigators are looking into several things this morning, including a gas well that's on the property, as well as reports that several people were working on a car when the explosion happened. A woman who lives nearby says her husband rushed in to help after the explosion rocked their house.
I said, it's so upsetting, and he said, well, you should have been here when it happened. He thought something had hit our house. That's how big the explosion was.
Authorities are not identifying the person who was killed by that explosion or the 3 others who are still missing this morning. Now, we could learn more about the home explosion later today. The coroner says they are planning to give us an update sometime around noon. From the live desk, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Mark, thank you very much. In his first State of the Budget address, Governor Matt Bevin is calling for $650 million in cuts across the board.
We cannot borrow our way out of debt, nor will we try. Nor will we try.
Now, this, of course, is the governor's proposal for the upcoming budget. The Republican governor said that his top priority is going to be to provide more money for the state's struggling pension system. Bevin's budget also means possible layoffs of state employees. He's asking his cabinet secretaries to decide how to cut their agencies by 9% in 2017 and 2018. He is making some immediate cuts of his own in the current budget. There is also a long list of items that will not be cut from Bevin's proposed budget. Let's go to WKYT's Michelle Chamberlain live this morning, taking a closer look at the governor's proposals. Michelle?
Yeah, places like the Lexington Center will be getting funding. As a matter of fact, the proposal will give $60 million in bond funding to the center's latest renovation project, which is roughly going to cost about $250 million. He says his budget proposal, which would go into effect July 1st, would add more than $1 billion in new money to the pension system for state workers and teachers over the next 2 years. It also includes pay raises for state police. Now, Veterans Affairs, Financial Aid, Public Safety, and Medicaid were exempt from funding cuts. However, the governor said he is immediately cutting $117 million in spending from the current budget put in place by former Governor Steve Beshear. Now, the budget proposal now goes to the Democratic-led House before being passed on to the Republican-controlled Senate. Governor Bevin also said he would have liked to have seen tax cuts in the budget proposal, but said the state could not afford them. Live in Lexington, Michelle Chamberlain, WKYT.
All right, thanks so much, Michelle. We have an update to a story you saw first right here on WKYT this morning. State police say 2 people were found dead inside a burning Pike County home. Yesterday morning's fire destroyed the home on US 460 in the Farrells Creek community outside Elkhorn City. Family members say Ross and Dixie Dameron live there. The Pike County deputy coroner says 2 bodies were eventually recovered from the home hours after the fire started. Developing news just coming into the WKYT newsroom. Police in Elizabethtown are investigating an early morning murder. The scene is on Westport Road, just off the bypass. Police say the male victim died from a single puncture wound. They won't say if he was shot or stabbed. There are no details about the suspect. Stay with WKYT.com for the latest information.
Time this morning is 6:36 on WKYT, and also just coming into our newsroom, the FBI says a Cincinnati man is one of the people facing federal charges in connection with the armed occupation of a national wildlife refuge in Oregon. The FBI and the Oregon State Police arrested Amon Bundy, the leader of the armed group, along with his brother and several other members last night. They have been occupying a national wildlife refuge there since the beginning of the year. Among those taken into custody was 50-year-old Peter Santilli of Cincinnati. During the arrests along a highway, authorities say shots were fired and one person was killed. New this morning, Richmond police are searching for a man accused of using stolen credit cards around town. This picture is from security footage at a Richmond Walmart. Investigators say the man used stolen credit cards to buy Green Dot Visa cards at various Walmarts. While he has been caught on security cameras multiple times, police say they can't get a good picture of his face yet.
New on WKYT this morning, a man is in jail accused of firing a gun into an apartment. Dorian Cooper is charged with wanton endangerment. Police say they were called to an apartment on Trent Circle yesterday for a call of shots fired. Investigators were able to figure out that the bullet came from his neighbor's apartment. Police say Cooper told them he fired the gun on accident.
The owner of a Casey County business says it is going to take him months to recover after heavy snow caused his building to collapse. No one was inside the Scott Gate Company when it collapsed over the weekend, but the owner thinks everything inside the building is now destroyed. On top of losing the building, he also says he slipped on the snow during the storm on Friday and broke his leg. The impact of the weekend snowstorm is still causing problems for many school districts. We have more than 50 school closings and delays this morning. You can find the complete list of those at WKYT.com.
A state senator has filed a bill that would give line-of-duty death benefits to Kentucky paramedics. The bill is in honor of paramedic John Mackey, who died after being hit by a car while on duty in Nicholasville last fall. Right now in Kentucky, the families of fallen paramedics do not receive the same benefits that families of fallen police officers and firefighters receive. Mackey's wife, who is also a paramedic, hopes that changes.
My children have often asked, why does the death of their father mean less or something different than the death of the firefighters or the police?
Well, Senator Tom Buford of Nicholasville filed the bill. If passed, it would cover paramedic deaths going back to July of 2014.
Lexington Mayor Jim Gray has made it official. He is running for the U.S. Senate. Mayor Gray, a Democrat, says his first priority would be to create jobs in Kentucky. He will challenge Republican Senator Paul the senator from Kentucky, of course, Rand Paul. Gray says that Senator Paul is not focused on Kentucky while running for president. Paul's campaign responded by saying that he works hard for Kentuckians with 94% voting attendance record in the Senate. All right, it is fixed now, but for a while, a water main break was the main attraction in a Lexington neighborhood. Water was gushing high into the air yesterday. Check out this eyewitness video from the area there in Cardinal Valley. Kentucky American Water was eventually able to repair the break and says that just 6 customers were affected, but it was a sight to see.
Well, chefs will help schools in 8 Kentucky counties start preparing meals using fresh local foods. The Kentucky Department of Agriculture says the pilot projects will begin next month and last through May. The Chefs in Schools collaborative event will educate food service employees on issues including menu development, recipes, and ways to support local farmers. The program will be in Boyle, Clark, Grayson, Oldham, Harlan, Martin, Morgan, and Pike counties.
All right. Some good food, it looks like there.
It looks yummy.
Time this morning is 6:40.
Let's get a check of traffic right now.
Officer Don is on board now with live drive traffic from 98.1 The Bull. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, gang. First, a look at overall traffic flow this morning. We can see a little slowdown on Harrodsburg Road coming up on the Circle, but that's just normal through the crossover. Same deal on Nicholasville Road. No surprises as you plan to head out the door. Drive times for now looking good. If you're headed toward Winchester, 64 coming from Winchester toward Lexington, that's a normal ride at the moment. Coming across the Clays Ferry Bridge from Madison County, we're looking good, and even from Georgetown, it's all normal stuff. Now back to you in the studio.
Okay, hope it's a good ride in for everybody. Make it a safe day and a good Wednesday, and it's good to have you along. WKYT this morning just getting started. A lot more news coming up.
Yeah, we've got a lot of good stuff for you. Not even a day old and a newborn already stopping traffic in New York City. His amazing story after weather.
Looking on Defender Radar Network and not seeing much go on. A couple of flurries here and there, especially down toward the south. And we'll do it again Thursday night into Friday. And a beautiful weekend. A lot to talk about. It's coming up next.
Closings on WKYT are brought to you by Kentucky Utilities, Be Dry, Morehead State University, Lextran, and Kroger.
1, 2, 3, 4, get my shoes and out the door. 5, I'm alive. 6, 7, 8, feeling great. 9, gonna shine, life is good. I'm doing fine. 10, gonna do it right and do it again, yeah. I look into the sky with all the beautiful color, but there's more than just for me, so gonna share it with another. I got to show, to give, let out. I want to sing and shout. Take a look and say, oh, 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 oh. Come on, come on, come on and sing, yeah. Come on, come on, come on and sing.
When you flip on the lights, you're probably not thinking about us. But at Kentucky Utilities, we're always thinking about our customers. Planning to meet your future energy needs. Exploring renewable energy options. Adapting to constantly changing regulations. We're always thinking about ways to bring you safe, reliable energy while keeping your rates among the lowest in the nation. So you can keep thinking about what matters most.
Imagine our city as one big machine and all the moving parts that keep it humming along. Lextran keeps more of those parts moving than most of us realize.
Unless the conditions are extremely bad, we don't stop. We run every day, including holidays.
So whether you ride the bus or not, you can count on the fact that many of the people you count on Lextran.
$0.40 off a gallon. That's what I'm talking about.
I got 60.
70? Oh, yeah! Oh! How much did you save? $1 a gallon.
Big savings with fuel points at Kroger. Now that's something to celebrate.
There's no one road out there, no one surface, no one way of driving on each and every road. But there is one car that can conquer them all. The Mercedes-Benz C-Class. 5 driving modes let you customize the steering, shift points, and suspension to fit the mood you're in and the road you're on. The 2016 C-Class 4MATIC starting at $40,950. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
Pretty good looking start to the day. Maybe a couple of flurries outside and the possibility of some freezing fog down south because these temperatures just below freezing. Not only that, it's something I want you to keep in mind this morning is there will be some icy spots out on the roads. We've had a lot of melting past few days, and that's something I'm really wanting to hone in on and say every time I'm on air is watch out for some icy spots. Because I actually walked into it as I was walking into work. About busted my tail outside. So that would have been good, but I'm just letting you know, sidewalks, those stairs going down off your porch, yeah, they will have some icy spots here and there. So just watch out for that. Slick spots this morning. We get into noontime and afternoon, pretty chilly day in store. Around 33 degrees. It's near freezing. Good news here is this is your coldest day in the forecast. So that's pretty good. Not all that bad, 33. Then we go towards your weekend. It's going to be up and down until we hit your weekend, but I think Saturday and Sunday is your best in the forecast. Not only the best in the forecast, but we're talking about the best weather we have felt and seen for quite some time. This is beautiful weather coming up toward the weekend, a big swing of temperatures on Saturday and Sunday. If you have any plans, stick to them. If you do not, why don't you go ahead and make some. Check this out. This is in Corbin. And Megan Reeves sent this one in. Gorgeous view out in Corbin. Just a beautiful shot of the snow off in the trees. And also another good looking sunset. And this is from Kentucky Girl UK. There you go. Another stunning Kentucky sunset. Beautiful shots on Twitter and on Facebook all morning long. I've been showing them. Keep sending them in, and I'll show them there at 10 a.m. and also noontime as well. Here's your 7-day forecast. 33 today. Kids will need a coat before they take off to the bus stop. It's upper 20s, lower 30s this morning. Once we hit tomorrow, 41, and then Friday, 36, after we get past those days, I mean, you're talking about beautiful weather there on Saturday and Sunday. And then Monday off into Tuesday, guys, we're talking 60 degrees in the forecast. A week prior to that, actually about a week and a half prior to that, we're talking about a snowstorm. So this is some really, really nice weather on its way. However, when you get 60 degrees this time of year, late January, early February, you're talking about some thunderstorms, and we're going to have that as we slide up into next week.
Man, already thinking about the wardrobe choices.
No
right
kidding,
now.
no kidding.
This has been a wild ride. You know,
really has.
For Christmas, 70
right.
degrees, and we have had this big snowstorm, and now this.
It hasn't been terrible. It's just
yeah.
been up and down.
Yeah,
big
it
time.
has. Yeah. All right, Micah, thank you. 6:46 is our time.
Well, traffic was stalled on a New York freeway Tuesday, maybe due to an unlikely cause.
A mother was busy giving birth, and the NYPD was helping her deliver. Police tweeted out this picture of the new New Yorker. The baby's name is Nicola Wong. Police say he was delivered along FDR Drive right near the United Nations headquarters. The infant was taken to a local hospital, checked out, and reported to be in good condition.
Wow.
All right.
It's always amazing to hear something like that happening.
What a beginning for him, huh?
Cool.
All right, good to have you along. 6:47 Wednesday morning on WKYT.
We have more news. Stick with us.
Coming up, the armed standoff in Oregon turns deadly with one killed and the leaders under arrest. The latest from the scene. Plus, how will Donald Trump's decision to skip the next Republican debate shake up the GOP race? More real news coming up on CBS This Morning. Next.
Just into the news.
Kentucky, we hear you. There's more real news every morning on CBS This Morning. Right after WKYT This Morning, your most watched station.
Hot chicken from Kentucky? Bless their hearts. O'Charlie's introduces Nashville hot chicken from hot chicken's true birthplace. Just one of 4 new Southern-inspired dishes. Classic American, Southern roots.
Kick off the new year with great lease and finance deals at Don Jacobs Honda. Finance any 2016 Civic, CR-V, Fit, HR-V, or Pilot at just 1.99% APR for up to 72 months. Or lease the 2015 Civic CVT LX sedan for just $129 a month for 39 months. Or lease the 2016 Accord CVT LX sedan for $229 a month for 38 months. Start the new year off right with a new Honda from Don Jacobs Honda, Nicholasville and New Circle Road, or at donjacobshonda.com.
Known for our small town feel and big city care, we have been saving patients money for 30 years. When you need medical imaging, tell your doctor you have a choice. Call and compare prices. Lexington Diagnostic Center and Open MRI.
This is Brett Melrose. With winter almost here, the experienced team at Fayette Heating and Air stands ready to serve you. Dedicated to keeping you and your family comfortable around the clock. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. 365 days a year, with no additional overtime fees ever. Fayette Heating and Air, we're the biggest because we're the best, and we're here for you anytime, day or night. Call 233-0424. Fayette Heating and Air, complete home solutions.
He's been turned down. Commence operation. Hey! You need a car.
I got turned down for credit.
Turned down for what?
For credit.
Sorry, earwax. Turned down for what?
Credit.
Drive time won't turn you down, regardless of credit.
Cool.
Save yourself. Get approved at Drive Time First. Call, click, or visit.
If you have a business dispute, the consultation is free, and you don't pay us unless we're successful for you. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
You've got an hour for lunch. Make it count. O'Charlie's Free Pie Wednesday. A free slice with any entree. For a limited time, try our delicious mint brownie blast.
I have insurance.
Every Wednesday at O'Charlie's.
Welcome back in, and here we are at 6:50 on WKYT.
Still to come, battling depression. Why a new report recommends more screening for many Americans.
That story more coming up on CBS this morning. They're moving the cameras in place, getting ready to go from the CBS Broadcast Center in New York. Search teams are waiting for daylight to continue looking for 3 people missing after a deadly house explosion in southern Kentucky in Adair County.
Investigators say it happened along M. Coomer Road, just outside of Columbia. They say the explosion killed at least 1 person. Police say they're still not sure what caused the explosion.
Governor Matt Bevin is not waiting until next budget year in July to slash government spending. In his first state budget address, Bevin called for $650 million in cuts in the new budget. He will move ahead, though, with some cuts to the current budget. The Republican governor said his top priority is to provide more money for the state's struggling pension system. Bevin's budget also means possible layoffs of state employees. He is asking his cabinet secretaries to decide how to cut their agencies by 9% in 2017 and 2018. Governor Bevin says he, again, is immediately cutting $117 million from the current budget. The governor says he will cut 4.5% from the current budget. The reductions, he says, do not require legislative approval, at least in the case of the current spending plan. There is a long list of items that will not be cut from Bevin's proposed budget, including Veterans Affairs, financial aid, Medicaid, and public safety. His budget also spares K-12 schools from funding cuts, although universities are looking at a 9% cut over 2 years. Bevin also proposed $60 million for the overhaul of Lexington's Convention Center. It had asked for $75 million in state money. And despite rumors, the budget does not eliminate the Kentucky Arts Council. The budget proposal now goes to the Democratic-led House before being passed on to the Republican-controlled Senate. There's usually then a conference between the two.
We're tracking a developing national story right now. Firefighters are battling a massive fire at a commercial building on Canal Street in downtown New Orleans. Investigators say there are businesses on the first floor, but they are not sure about the upper floors. Live television images from the scene show flames leaping from the roof. Several blocks of Canal Street, which borders the city's French Quarter, have been closed. The feud between Donald Trump and Fox News is heating up yet again. Trump says he will just skip the network's GOP presidential debate tomorrow.
Trump's campaign confirmed the decision, saying he will instead be hosting an event in Iowa to raise money for wounded veterans. In a statement, Fox News says Trump is still welcome to take part, but that the network will not accept any terrorizations toward employees.
Terrorizations. Interesting. Well, the leaders of an armed group who took over a federal wildlife refuge near Burns, Oregon earlier this month are now in police custody. Ammon Bundy and several others were arrested following a traffic stop that ended in gunfire. Authorities say at least 1 person was wounded and has died. A Milwaukee man is facing serious charges for allegedly plotting a mass shooting at a Masonic temple. 23-year-old Sami Mohammed Hamzeh is accused of illegally possessing machine guns and a silencer. Officials say they intercepted the plot after Hamzeh discussed his plans with federal informants.
Time is 6:53, and right now on WKYT.com, this deadly house explosion in Adair County where there is 1 confirmed fatality. 3 people are missing. Crews are awaiting daylight to continue with the search effort, and we're on top of that story. Also trending now on the web, Governor Matt Bevin's proposed budget, including $650 million in cuts. The new Republican governor says he'll put more money into the troubled pension funds. He says that is the heart and soul of his spending plan. You can check out the details and our video coverage online. We still have more than 50 closings or delays in some areas this morning, still dealing with the aftermath of that big winter storm that rolled through. You can find those on our website, as well as a warmer forecast from Micah for the weekend and off into next week. Also getting traction on the web right now, Lexington Mayor Jim Gray's decision to enter the U.S. Senate race. He's a Democrat hoping to take on Republican Senator Rand Paul. We have a list of all the Senate candidates online. London voters have decided to allow alcohol sales. They joined nearby Corbin and Barberville in fully ending decades of prohibition. They had previously allowed it only in larger restaurants. On Kentucky.com, Lexington's city elections are set. All incumbents are seeking re-election. There will be no primaries in any of the council races, but in the fall there will be council races in the 2nd, 4th, and 12th districts. CBS This Morning is on the way shortly with your eye opener, and and we'll have local updates. Join us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter or Instagram, and for the latest anytime, WKYT.com.
Looking at any traffic troubles around the region, I'm not seeing any and not hearing of any either, so things are looking pretty good. Nice flow in all locations. However, because of temperatures being there below freezing, you saw a lot of this refreeze overnight. So anything that melts the past few days, yeah, you're going to be seeing those slick spots here and there across your driveway and also sitting there on the roads. You just got to keep that in mind as you travel this morning. By the afternoon, we're at 33 degrees. Pretty chilly day in store. This is your coldest day in the forecast. So 33, coldest day in the forecast, that is not bad. You got to remember, it's late January, early February. There have been much, much colder days than this. So if we're doing that in the forecast, we're doing all right, guys. Yeah. We go up and down the next few days. So I think Thursday night and Friday, another chance at a few flakes. But then your weekend, we're talking 50s and 60s.
We'll enjoy that.
That's lovely.
50s and 60s.
You talked earlier about nearly slipping on some black ice, so be careful about that. And then I nearly tripped over your protein shakes that are in a snowbank out there to be kept cold. That's going to melt away.
It's working.
You're going to eat.
It's working. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Then you're going to have warm shakes.
I guess I'll just put it in the
Wow. All right.
You didn't see that by the door?
I have not seen that. Let's
just put them down in the ice.
Kodak moment right there.
Well, I put it on Twitter, so you can check
right
that
there.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he says it's working. Yeah, right.
All right.
All right. Nobody,
Come on, man.
Nobody's more up to date than you to start your day. Thank you so much for being with WKYT. Remember, the news is always on at WKYT.com.
CBS This Morning's next. Have a great day, guys.